third, but it's Mucho Gusto and Maximum Security. Maximum Security cuts the corner. Mucho Gusto is going to make him work. Maximum Security has his mind on business. He leads by a half length. Mucho Gusto trying so hard to go by. Maximum Security just in front. Mucho Gusto valiant, but Maximum Security has won the TVG.com Haskell Invitational.
Alright, welcome back to Travers Profile here on Racing Rundown. I do just want to quickly make a clarification on what I meant when I did the announcement for the contest. The words "pick all the winners" were not the best words to use to describe that, and I do apologize for any misjudgment on what the words were supposed to mean. What I meant by that was, give me a list of all the winners for the races. You don't have to pick all 12 or whatever the number of races on the card is. You don't have to pick every single winner. Just send me a list to either my email or either of my social medias. My email, racingrundownpodcast@gmail.com, or Instagram, Racing Rundown Podcast. You can send me a DM there. Twitter, Rundown Racing. Any of those three places are acceptable for the contest. And you just send me a list of winners for your pick for each of the races. And the person who has the most races correct wins the bracelet that we were going to be giving away. Just wanted to clarify that because I did get a lot of messages and there was some miscommunication in what I meant by there. That's what I meant by this. Okay, now we're getting into this video about Mucho Gusto. Very, very intriguing horse going into this race. A lot of people are saying that this horse cannot get 1.25 miles. And while I'm not necessarily going to say that that is the case, I understand the reservations. And I also, I understand on both sides, whether it's reservations about whether this horse can get the 1.25 miles, or whether or not you think that this horse is up to the task. So let's go back to some of his most recent performances. Second in the Haskell to Maximum Security, who ran a very, very good race in the Haskell. I know he interfered with King for a Day and probably should have been disqualified, but regardless of that, Maximum Security ran a very good race, and Mucho Gusto put up a very good fight against Maximum Security in that race to be second. So credit to him for that. So that shows you that he can get some kind of a distance a little bit. Going back a little bit further, he won the 1.16 Affirmed Stakes, and before the Affirmed Stakes won the 7 furlong Las Barrera. So you've got a horse that's trending upwards from his third place finish in this Sunland Park Derby. I thought that that was completely jockey error in that race and not anything else besides that. And so you've had a horse that, has not finished out of the money in his career. Now, he has not had some of the success that you would think would come with a horse, with the saying a horse has never finished out of the money. He's never won a Grade 1 race, but he has been second twice in Grade 1 races. Second in the Los Al Futurity to Improbable, and second in the Haskell to Maximum Security, as I already said. So the thing that I would say about Mucho Gusto is that I think that this is a horse that's improving. I don't think that this is the best horse that Bob Baffert has, but I would probably say you can make a good case of him being second. He beat Roadster, who we originally thought after the Santa Anita Derby was going to be Bob Baffert's best horse. He beat Roadster pretty handily in the Affirmed Stakes. And, Mucho Gusto was beaten soundly by Improbable in the Los Al Futurity. That was when they were 2-year-olds. I think Mucho Gusto is a better horse than him. I'm not going to say that he's better than Game Winner because I don't have any information to back that up. But I think what you have with Mucho Gusto is an intriguing horse. That Mucho Gusto, the other thing about him is that he has shown an ability to be able to relax on the front end. And I see that, and that is very encouraging to see. Mucho Gusto, while I don't think that he's the best play for the Travers Stakes, I can understand why you would want to pick him. If you like a hot trainer like Bob Baffert, then definitely this horse is going to catch your eye, obviously because he is trained by Bob Baffert. Now, the one thing that I will caution you is Joe Talamo did chase a pace in the Sunland Derby, and I would not rule out the possibility of him making a mistake like that, although I'm not going to predict that happening because I think Joe Talamo learned his mistake. I wasn't the biggest fan of him riding this horse, but he reassured me in the Haskell that was a one-off thing. I think that regardless of how good you think he is, I think that this is a horse that has talent. It definitely isn't the best horse in the field, but I would not be surprised if this horse wins. If you like to bet by trainer, then definitely if you like to bet by prominent trainer, this is the horse to bet, because he's trained by Bob Baffert. The one thing I will say is I do caution that this is not the typical slam dunk Baffert horse. I would say that if Game Winner was in this race, Game Winner would be very, very intriguing in this race. But also, the one thing that we should consider is Bob Baffert, the last 2 times that he's taken a horse to this race, 2016 and 2017, he has won. 2018, of course, Justify was retired. But, so Bob Baffert has won the Travers the last 2 times that he's been to Saratoga. So, he also does have a hot hand to play in this race. But that's what I would say about Mucho Gusto. He's not the best horse in this race. If you like to play by trainers, this is the horse to play, though. So, with all that being said, that's it for this video. I will see you later on when we cover Owendale, winner of the Ohio Derby and Lexington Stakes. See you then.
Fantastic, makes a nice move outside of Mucho Gusto. They're coming to the 8th pole. Mucho Gusto lets it out a notch, trying to fend off Fantastic. A late run from Manhattan up outside of Sparkyville. Mucho Gusto's class kicks it in the final furlong, and he is turning in a stylish victory in the Las Barrera. Mucho Gusto cruises.